Hi guys, I'm Emily Anderson. I'm the Coordinator of Sector Development, and thank you very much for coming along to our launch today. It's our very first launch of our campaigns, which we're very excited about. So once again, thank you very much for coming. We have been taking a few photos, so if you're really not interested in having your photo taken in future, let us know and we won't use those. But we'd love to take your photo just to say that you're here. We are webinaring in quite a few people on webinar today, so thank you so much to those people who are on webinar. Feel free to ask questions. We'll probably leave those till the end just so we can answer your questions then, but feel free to type those in the chat section of your webinar. I'd also like to thank the Department of Health. They are the supporter of Injury Control Council, who coordinate the Stay on Your Feet program, so thank you very much. I'd also like to show my respect and acknowledgement to the Noongar people, the traditional custodians of this land and of the elders past and present on which this event takes place. If you haven't seen our new fabulous branding before, these are our 3 steps to prevent slips, trips and falls. Move your body, improve your health and remove your hazards. And Build Your Balance is the first action you can take to move your body, and that's what we're here to talk about today, to promote the Build Your Balance campaign. I'd now like to introduce Dr. Nick Waldron. He's going to talk about the importance of balance and falls and why we're really talking about balance today. So please welcome Nick.
Thanks very much, Emily, and it's a privilege to come out this morning. And I'm stepping away from my ward round. I work at Armidale Hospital, so I deal with the consequences of falls every day. And so it's good to be here doing some preventative measures. And balance really is particularly important. It's really essential to have balance to be able to maintain your normal activities of daily living and anything you want to do in addition to that, recreational activities included. You've really got to have good balance to be able to achieve these tasks. It's really the ability to stay upright and steady when stationary and during movement. So physiotherapists talk about postural stability, but really that's the whole goal of it, is to be able to stay upright. And if something happens, to be able to accommodate to that. I think one of the great things about the Stay on Your Feet program is it's really breaking down quite complex falls prevention messages into simple kind of palatable messages. So, and one of the important things for the falls model of care, which we've developed in WA 2014, is we've extended falls not to be an ageing problem for older people and frailty, but to be something that goes across the life continuum. So, and this inevitability of going from falls being normal to being falls occurring when you're doing physical activity towards falls becoming increasingly common is something that we will all go through, and our parents and loved ones will also go through. As we go through that ageing process, there will be changes that mean we're more likely to fall, and postural stability and changes to that are the key, one of the key risk factors. So muscle strength, peripheral sensation, visual acuity, our balance centres, and that processing of the information that comes in all degrade with normal ageing. So if we just take 2 of those, for example, sensation from the legs, from the age of 50 there's degradation, okay, and muscle strength from the age of 65 or 60 there's degradation. So these things are a normal process of that ageing continuum. Also what happens is if we have a challenge to our postural stability or to our balance, we become less effective in selecting the kind of correcting mechanisms. So, for example, you might do so if you fall backwards and you're young, you might be able to be aware to drop your centre of gravity, stabilise your muscles, and then you can put that action out there quickly. As you're older, you may actually choose the wrong things and have something that's quite exaggerated, and then you may be slow in selecting it, so you have the kind of person that just drops. So all of these things are normal, can occur with ageing, and it comes down to balance. So we need to look at things that you do to get yourself up here. So this is age here, and this is our functional capacity. so we all have a quite high functional capacity, which you kind of become a kid, and then that increases and it starts plateauing off. Now, if you die at this point, you actually die at home independent. If you die at this one, you die in residential care dependent on others. Okay, and you can see that that range of function of individuals increases. So really what our goal is for healthy ageing, and this is what falls prevention is, it's a healthy ageing message, is to try and be in this blue line. And to be in that blue line, you need to be solid when you're getting into old age. So that's why the balance message is as much for people in their 50s as it is for people in age 65. In the model of care, if you want to go more broadly in how this sits with falls prevention, we have our gold bars. So we've summarised all the evidence for falls prevention in the gold bars. And it looks something like that, okay, which might look overwhelming. So I think it's really great that that we're choosing seasons and we're focusing on one thing. And balance is for everybody, as we've demonstrated, even if you should start young. The other thing I can reassure you about is by focusing on one thing, it appears that that's almost as effective as focusing on multiple things. So what I mean by that is, say to prevent falls, you might have a number of things you could do. You could have a home visit and some modifications to the home. You could do balance and exercise program. You could get off some drugs. You could change your vision, get a cataract procedure. You could change the use of your bifocals. So you could have changes to your medication. So there's a number of things you could do, and you could potentially do all of those. But what we've learned in falls prevention is that actually to do one of those things is very beneficial for practitioners. It doesn't matter for anyone coming to you for anything related to balance or falls, you can always recommend exercise. So that's in 3 international guidelines, that balance exercise program for people who have a balance deficit above the age of 65 is beneficial. So even if you do nothing else for falls prevention, you can always recommend balance and exercise program. It's incredibly important. Cognitive impairment is a bit more complicated, okay? But we would never not give exercise programs to people with cognitive impairment. We just need to adapt it and make sure that the carer or the person that is supporting them is able to supervise and make sure they do it in a safe way. Okay, so we don't exclude people with cognitive impairment as having exercise. We just need to adapt it. This is really the big thing for falls prevention in terms of balance and exercise programs. Is the barriers to actually doing it. How many of us actually do meet our exercise requirements now in the bracket of, in our age bracket we are now, how many of us are actually doing recommendations? So this is not just something that's for older people, it's actually a population health issue about healthy behaviours. But as you get older, there's lots of reasons why it becomes more difficult. People they may see they don't need to, they don't see that they're not falling, they don't like exercising, they may not feel safe, they're worried they might fall. There's medical reasons, it might make them feel short of breath, they might feel unwell, they might get back pain, they're worried about these things happening. Actually, exercise is beneficial for these things, but they're concerns that people have. And again, just practical stuff, they can't get to a class or they're not given a program. So I'll hand over to back to Emily. So really, I think if we can address these things as people with interest in falls, so the people here and listening, those people we're caring for, or even our loved ones and our family, then helping navigate and overcome these barriers, we're really doing a service to our population. And I think this needs to be importantly driven from the community. And so I'll hand over to Echo about how they are helping navigate this challenging but important space. Thank you.
Thanks, Nick. Beautiful. So that really gives us a really great background into what we're talking about today, and Nick obviously talked about the importance of the prevention, and that's what we're here about today. So the key messages for the Build Your Balance campaign: your balance is important to help you complete everyday activities. So that's exactly what Nick was talking about, being able to stand up straight and perform activities so you can get on with everyday life. Your balance declines as you get older, but it doesn't have to. He also talked about that with the graph. improving your balance is the best way to prevent falls, and we know that through with many evidence trials. And trying for 2 hours of balance exercises every week is our message that we're getting across. We know that can be challenging. Sometimes we talk about 20 minutes a day, that kind of thing, to make sure that we are actually getting exercises that have balance in them. We are very lucky to have worked with Dr. Anne-Marie Hill on a number of occasions, and for this she's a physiotherapist background, and she has very kindly presented a video for us talking about all our really key messages. That video is available on our website, and it will also be sent out tomorrow. Everything that I talk about in this rest of this presentation will also be sent out by email to everyone, so feel free to take notes, but also we'll be sending it out. I really encourage you to watch Anne-Marie's video. We also, as part of this Build Your Balance campaign, have had community grants. We have had them for a number of years. This year we've had 2 rounds of grants. This second round with Build Your Balance has had 3 recipients of $5,000, being the City of Albany, the City of Perth and the City of Geraldton. Just by chance, they happen to be all local governments. We don't, it doesn't have to be them, but so we really encourage anyone to apply for grants into the future. But these 3 particular community organisations or local governments are delivering 8 to 12-week balance programs directly into the community, which is really exciting, and also working with them to make sure they're evaluated really well and see how we can try to continue to roll those out past the grant period as well. Now let's talk about some of our resources that we've developed, the team have developed for the Build Your Balance campaign. We've got the Build Your Balance brochure, which is a DL flyer. They're all available to download online. People in the room will have got some on your seat, but feel free to order some more. Once again, it's really talking about our key messages, that the fact that balance is important and what you can do to improve your balance. We have also revamped our Build Your Balance flyer. So these are really basic or simple to follow Build Your Balance exercises that people can do in their own home. The idea being that they do start off very basic in terms of making sure that you have hands held on to something steady so that you don't lose your balance, and then slowly increase that complexity of that that move, I suppose. Once again, that's a double-sided A4, and feel free to download and them as well. We would always encourage people to talk to their health professionals if they're working with, to make sure that the exercises are right for them as well where appropriate. So as I mentioned, you can download all these resources on the quickmail.com.au website. You can order continue as a guest, but I recommend that you really register, because you can access more than, as a guest you can only download 2 of each of the resources, but as a user you can download more. There are maximums, but feel free to chat to us if you're really wanting more than that as well. Very exciting news. Pens are now available to order. They're one of the most requested things we have. So feel free to order those. The Quick Mail site was getting updated this morning, so hopefully they'll be there this afternoon. We encourage you to use these actually with a falls prevention message as well, not just for everyday use. The idea being that, yeah, we know people like giveaways, and if they can get engaged with the program using this, then that's great. I'd like to talk about an educator toolkit that we've developed. So really it's basically a 4-session booklet, online booklet that you can download, that talks you through a presenter's guide presenting education on Build Your Balance. You don't have to be an expert presenter. In fact, it's okay if you're not. It's probably better that you're not. If you know the people that you're working with, that's a great start, because they're more likely to engage with you. So as I said, there's 4 sessions, starting from what is balance, working through to what can you do to build your balance. With each of the sessions, we've developed little demonstration videos, so you can watch someone else presenting the exact same toolkit information, so that you can go on and deliver that as well. So hopefully isn't too daunting if you're wanting to present. You can also go on and present, use the information just to present one-on-one with someone as well. It doesn't have to be in a group situation. So within the Educator Toolkit, we have a session plan, so telling you how the toolkit's broken down, so into the different sessions. We have a PowerPoint presentation that you can follow along with, so you can literally point to the slide and discuss it, follow through the toolkit as well. We have conversation starters, because we think the toolkit is really about starting that conversation with someone, because as we know, increasing someone's exercise or can be challenging, so it's starting those conversations about potentially about barriers to exercise as well. That can be used within the presentation or on its own. We have evaluation templates so that you can evaluate how you've delivered your presentation. As I mentioned, the demonstration videos, and also action plans, because we really think it's important for the participants to think about what they can actually do after listening to you. So what can they do in their life to build their own balance? That's all available, going to be online, so feel free to go and download it and share it with your friends and family if you really want to as well. We also know that people often do great events and run fabulous programs but don't know how to advertise them. We've now developed event flyers where you can input your own event information. So feel free to download those. You can literally put in your event title, what's happening, when it's going to be. You can even insert your own logos down the bottom to make it so it's yours. And so feel free to download those. There's also within the toolkit, there's links to event preparation and promotion kit. So what do you have to do to set up an event, and how can you get some media to gain interest in that? We've also redeveloped the eDirectory. I think my next slide. So this is really an online directory, as the name suggests, to promote your program, service or event. So are you running an information session that you would like anyone to attend? Let us know, and we can actually, you can do it yourself. You can log in and enter all the information yourself. Do you have a regular falls program? You can enter that in as well. People can search via, we'll be able to search in the next couple of months via region, so anyone regionally can also do this, or by postcode. So really exciting that we've got this up and running again. You can also, basically, if you're running a falls program, you can say if you're relating it to move, improve or remove, or all three. So if you're only doing exercise, you can just say it's a move program. So yeah, it's a really great way to promote your program, and we'll be also at this stage, the next couple of months, we'll be really working with health professionals to get their programs on, and then post that, it'll be really about promoting the fact that it exists for other health professionals to refer to other services, but also for the community members to find out programs that they can access. So, do you want more information on balance? I suppose a great source of information is the model of care that Nick was talking about earlier. But also our standing feet websites of health professionals works to reduce falls. So not only balance, but other areas, but obviously we're talking about balance today. And there's also a whole section on evidence and reference documents. So anything that we've talked about within our resources or on the website, there's reference documents that you can link to find out more information. So yeah. If you're needing to put together a business plan to say, I really want to do a balance program, there's a really great place to start for resources in terms of getting evidence behind you to get that balance program off the ground. We also have some other education sessions that are coming up. We have the Build Your Balance Forum, which is on Thursday, the 1st of October. We have fabulous guest speakers, Professor Keith Hill, Lisa Cockman, who's an audiologist, and Kiara, who's a fall specialist physiotherapist at Osborne Park, and is also about to start some studies with Anne-Marie Hill. So fabulous guest speakers there. We'll also be having discussion, a little bit of an activity time to make sure that we're working multidisciplinary, so we really encourage many disciplines to come along to this event and talk about balance and what's your role in balance, because not only just physios or OTs have their role, it's everyone. Feel free to jump on the stayonyourfeet.com.au/events. That's where all these events will be, and you can register through there. We also have upcoming strength and balance training. So these two trainings were run earlier in the year, July. The Life and the Intago, they both sold out and had a waiting list, so jump on and get involved. They're half-day trainings. The Life and the Intago are both home-based exercise programs, and Life is about integrating, as the name suggests, integrating exercise into daily activities. So whether it be making a cup of tea and then, standing on one leg whilst holding the bench whilst making a cup of tea, or something to do with, making sure you squat down to hang out the washing, to include those exercises in your daily life. And Intago is very much the go-to in terms of very high evidence-based exercise program for falls, and many other programs have been built upon the evidence within this program. So both really good trainings that I encourage you to attend if you're available and interested. We also have the Tai Chi for Arthritis for Falls Prevention instructor program happening. This is running only in a couple of weeks' time, and the sign-up needs to be by the end of this week, so feel free to jump on. That Tai Chi for Arthritis is also, once again, very evidence-based in terms of falls prevention. We have a number of both health professional, as in occupational therapists, fitness instructors, OTs, and also Tai Chi, people who are just interested in Tai Chi who are coming along to that. We also have booked out an Albany session of this training. That's all fully sold out, which is really exciting for the regional areas as well. So, as I said, we are going to be sending out all this information by our e-news. If you're not already on our e-news, I'd encourage you to sign up. And we'll be sending it around to all of you and everyone else on our mailing list tomorrow. Feel free to forward that to your colleagues, or we're going to have a print-ready version, so if you want to leave it on your coffee tables, feel free to do that as well. And the e-news is sent out fortnightly and includes other news and events that we'll be holding as well, and other people are holding as well. So let us know if you have any other things that falls prevention news and events that you'd like us to promote as well. That's it for today. Really want to encourage you to jump on our website, download as much as you want, and think about ordering resources for programs that really would benefit from some Build Your Balance resources. But feel free to contact us at any time, and thank you for tuning in on webinar.